Hi, how's it going? We have a special guest today. I'd like to introduce you to the Last Seahorse here. They are a variety cat. No. Variety.
I'm a variety cat.
I mean,
Hi, I'm the Last Seahorse. I'm a variety VTuber, musician, and DJ. Also, apparently a variety cat. But I identify as non-binary, and we've been talking about, and by we I mean the lovely Alice Lunazera, and I have been talking about dedicating some time to ENBY Memes because I identify as non-binary trans femme, and we just thought it would be fun. So Here we are.
Here we are. Let me just jump right into it.
Me versus the person I have a...
That's pretty good. I wasn't sure where this was going at first, but
I wasn't either, and it caught me off guard. Oh my god. Okay, now that I see the wings and the sparkles, it makes a bit more sense. Yeah. And you know what? This is great. Honestly, the more that this stuff gets normalized, the better. I'm gonna say that about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because really, it's just that a lot of things need to be normalized. But this in particular, like, this isn't even a new phenomenon. This has been going on in various different. I mean, like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. You know, like.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, like this is just a newer, more updated version of it. But like, live your best life. Be with the person that you want to be with. Who cares about looks?
Me checking which one's cleaner, the male bathroom or the female bathroom. I
remember the like early steps into like becoming trans and discussing with my partner at the time, and she was just like, no, female bathrooms are atrocious. You're probably going to be shocked at how incredibly gross they are. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah.
I mean, like, thing you're missing in the female bathroom is you don't have the urinal, so you don't have like piss backsplash.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in every other way, they can be still just as dirty.
Gender? Yeah, I totally have one of those. Definitely. There's some sort of gender around here somewhere. Give me a second. Throw dirty laundry all around. I know it was here. I saw it yesterday. Oh God, give me a second. I swear I had it just the other day. You can also just not have it. That's fine too.
Yeah.
You can just not have it.
If it's lost, like, you're fine without it. You could just leave it lost.
Yeah.
Just go about your day. It's fine.
Yeah, just 122 L. It's fine.
122 L?
Yeah, loss.
Oh my God. What did I ask?
Gender is not only a spectrum, a range of expression, how you relate to yourself, a personal identity. Gender is also the number of tentacles you have, the temperature of the void when you were born, and your taste in decorative print socks. I like my decorative print socks with paws on them. And then you can have like little cats and things and maybe like, I don't know, a pentagram that's on fire. Cause you know, it's ENBY Memes. Like that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Tentacles and paw prints.
It's the temperature of the void you were born in. On one side you have Glaceon, on the other side you have Flareon, and then you have paw prints to go with them. This is the perfect the perfect decorative sock. But just remember, you don't have to be Glaceon or Flareon. You too can also be Sylveon.
I mean, Sylveon kind of has tentacles.
God, that's true.
Yeah, people would like to talk about that, but like Sylveon's like tendrils are like part of them, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's just drop it. Yeah. Let's just drop it.
Yeah, because now I'm thinking about like Sylveon's tentacle bones, and I don't know where this.
Boy, that's a statement.
And someone who knows you well and knows your pronouns are they them refers to you with he him pronouns. Excuse me. Yeah.
That's one of those like difficult ones, especially since I accidentally refer to myself with he him sometimes. I always say, like, if I can't gender myself correctly, how are other people supposed to gender me correctly all the time? Everybody slips up here and there. But you know, in general, most people I know, if they slip up, they'll go, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
And then they'll make a big deal of it. And it's just like, no, it's okay. I do it myself. Don't worry about it. No, calm down. Calm down. Just, no.
Context is important.
Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, context is important. It's just going to happen when you're going through like gender changes of any type. Brains are, especially like, this is something that I don't know how many people talk about this, but there's definitely the older you are as a person that's interacting with somebody else that's doing a gender change, the harder it's going to be and the more likely you are to mess up here and there.
Yeah.
Because your pathways are so much more defined at that point. So it's going to be harder to swap them over to the new pathway, basically.
Yeah. It's not that brains ever stop like changing or learning, but definitely depending on how somebody is using their brain or not using their brain, it is going to be kind of harder for that change to happen. You know what I find more often than not? Not as much people referring to me with their own pronouns and talking to me directly, but people or family members are talking about me to somebody else. Is the time that like I notice most people mess up like, constantly. Yeah, even if I'm right there, it's just like in reference to me talking to somebody else is, yeah.
Yeah, I know that I'm guilty of that one myself, but I always catch myself and then immediately start swearing. Like out at dinner, I'm out at Red Robin, and just all of a sudden, they just...
Yeah.
Like, Seahorse, you were just saying don't make a scene about these things. Right.
It's because, like, you know, like, none of us want to be, like, make these mistakes, but...
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks because we know how much it hurts and it impacts us.
If you have transitioned or are planning to, what anime-like title would your story be? Mine, the Oracle said I would transform, but not like this. Yeah, I mean, like, mine would probably be, well, I knew that I was a woman from, like, my early years, but I didn't really decide to do anything about it until I was in my late 20s. But then I made some mistakes and ended up being a man for another decade. But then I discovered that I could become this magical electronic version of myself that fit my ideal brain space. And then I could truly journey into the land of non-binary.
It sounds like a best-selling anime.
I didn't truly find my gender until I became a VTuber.
Yeah. I do have some regret about not transitioning much sooner. Earlier.
I come from the land down under where, no wait, I come from the 80s and the 90s where being trans wasn't a thing. I talk about this a lot. 2005 to like 2008 was like basically where a lot of groups of people not only were figuring out that they weren't alone, but that there were a lot of them. I personally started to see the trans movement grow and become much more unified and much stronger. Was right around 2007. And that basically was when I was like, wait, this is a thing I can do? Unless you were in like San Francisco, New York, LA, like the really, really big cities that had an actual queer culture, this wasn't something that you would know you could do. And so, yeah, around 2007 is where I personally was just like, oh, wait, people cross-dress, or not cross-dress, but crossplay? So I could cosplay a female anime character? Really? This is a thing? And the crossplay forum at the time was basically a thinly veiled how to transition forum. That's basically what it was.
Sense.
It's just it was like every single piece of information, and there was even a hormone thread, but I don't remember what was in the hormone thread because my brain was just like, that's too much. Let's not do that at this point. And I was like, okay. I cosplayed Bridget. That's totally not a sign. That's totally not a sign. Yeah, not a sign at all. Yeah, and then I met some more people from the forum, and they're all trans now.
You don't say.
Yeah, funny how that works, isn't it?
The thinly veiled trans forum It's full of chains.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my title is, I wanted to cosplay as a female anime character and discovered a forum on the internet and then became trans. Oh God, those are NB goals. I don't even care about like trans mask versus trans femme, either of them. I am happy on either side of that. Those are both very NB goals.
I don't think I'd seen this a Numa quote before. Back during the Ocarina of Time days, I wanted Link to be gender neutral. I wanted the player to think maybe Link is a boy or a girl. If you saw Link as a guy, he'd have more of a feminine touch, or vice versa. If you related to Link as a girl, it was more with a masculine aspect. I wanted the designer to encompass more of a gender-neutral figure, so I always thought that for either female or male players, I wanted them to be able to relate to Link. I mean, like, look how Link has been portrayed from the very beginning, from like the first games. This is at a time when like heroes and like you know, warriors were always depicted as like really muscular, very large.
I mean, it's interesting because it's essentially Japan taking a Japanese style hero and the more androgynous build that tends to accompany those heroes, but putting it in Western style mythology. So where there would be that normal, huge, bulky like knight that's just like, oh, I'm burly, beware. You just have Link going like, yeah. You know, the other day, somebody came into my stream and was just like, okay, I hate to ask this, but are you male to female or female to male? Because I can't figure it out. And I just was like, and I had that like NB freakout moment. Because I mean, like, that's kind of the goal for some of us is just, yeah, the androgyny, the like, and then you go, does it matter?
Hey, what are you?
Human?
No, what's your gender?
No,
I mean, like, what's between your legs?
Death and destruction.
Whoa.
You have awakened the wrath of gender. I'm sorry, I mean none of your business.
I have 2 genders. I have all the genders.
My gender changes. You guys have genders? Oh, I love everybody out there that's just like, I have no gender. I love you to death. Keep being you. Gender is a performance, and today's show is canceled due to lack of interest. Yeah, let's go.
I mean, it is true. A lot of gender
it
is performative, or it is like you're expressing yourself, and the expression comes down to how you perform that. And that goes for anybody.
And even within a single gender, there is a lot of different ways to perform that gender.
I think you usually hear kind of like deeper conversations about that from like queer folk and trans folk and NB folk.
Yeah.
We end up thinking about it a lot because it's something we need to wrestle with. For cis people, oftentimes that's not something that they need to think about or worry about.
I always think about a quote from Dustin Hoffman, an interview he gave. He was in the movie, he was the star of the movie Tootsie, which was, you know, where he played a female character. And when they were doing makeup and getting him set up for the role, when he saw himself at the end of the first thing, he was like, no, I want you to make me a pretty woman. The makeup artist looked back at him and said, sweetie, that isn't the way this works. You will look the way you look. And that changed his perspective on everything for the rest of his life.
It's not just, oh yeah, like just make me look like the pretty girl. Like everybody has their own body and their own like body shape, face shape. You can't like, there's a lot of things you can't change.
And it's something that I've talked about too, which is, you know, a lot of people want to be a certain specific type of cute. And it's just like, you can be cute, but don't focus on just one type of cute, because even if you're born a certain way and it's like the correct gender that you want to be, things like that, you still might not be able to be that type of cute or pull off that look. It's difficult. It's something that we all struggle with because there's definitely, it's both sides of the gender spectrum too.
This isn't a thing about like, oh, you your transitioning is not going to work out for you, or something is wrong with you because you don't look a certain way, or because you can't match a certain style. Like a large problem that is faced by little cis women trying to like fit through and go through modern media and portrayals of fashion and beauty standards, right? The big issue is always that like most women don't look like what is portrayed. You see something, you see like a model showing off some clothing, you go to try it on, it makes you look awful, or like you just hate how you look because it doesn't look how you thought it's gonna look, and you can't look like the model because that's not you. And it's and it's like that affects everybody.
Oh yeah, you will probably not look like a skinny white anime girl when you transition. You will likely look like someone's mom, and you need to realize how swag this is. Yeah, I saw a picture of my mom last week and did a double take because we both realized how similarly we look. Skinny white anime girls are not real women, but your mom is. I promise you look like a real woman. Hashtag, my poor dad had to watch me slowly anamorph into his ex-wife, and that's beautiful. Shout outs to the funniest possible tags on this post. I love Tumblr. Tumblr is the gift that keeps on giving like a decade later. That fits right in with the gender is performative. Like you don't really get to pick how you're going to look, but guess what? You're I can't help, every time I say your mom, I'm just like I can't separate that from the joke. It's just intrinsically tied together. But like your mom is a good example of what kind of traits you're going to have. Or your dad. These are your genes. This is what happens. And you're just still over there giggling about, your mom. Your mom. Want to see me spin? Yeah, your mom's a good example of what you're gonna potentially look like if you're on hormones. Oh.
One of the funniest things to me still is when I started transitioning, you know how like phone apps or like your camera app on like a Samsung phone or Google phone will like group people together off your contacts. So we had a group for my sister. When I started taking selfies of myself after I started transitioning, it started to group me as my sister. Like my phone literally thought that I was my sister in my photos.
By the way, Alice is really cute, so that means that her sister is also really cute.
My sister is adorable.
See?
She's also really cool.
See? Where were we? Oh, right. Hashtag Alice cute.
No,
your non-binary friend is angry at life. No more Mr. Nice Kai.
Try to go by KY as a name, and everybody just misspelled it as KAI when it first came out.
Yeah, that's true. Cozy Kyra / Kai.
Yeah. Because I wanted it as my nickname, but also because I wanted a nickname that was, or a name that was gender neutral at the time. Like that's what I was going for. That's why I liked Kai.
It's my name, and I get to choose how edgy it is. It's my name, and I get to choose how edgy it is. Yeah.
I'm assuming their name is Flame. Oh wait, it's Ashes.
Their name is Absolute Fire.
No,
it's
wait,
Ashes.
Absolute Fire is funny too, but Ashes is really cool.
That's really good.
I like the implication that you used to burn, but don't anymore. Also, since isn't a quote-unquote real name, it's 100% gender neutral. Ashes is a really good name.
It is. And the other thing too is that even if you shorten it to Ash, that's still gender neutral. And if you want to be more femme, you could adopt Ashley. And even Ashy, even that is a bit more femme. Yeah. But is also still gender neutral. Like you scored.
You scored.
Excellent choice.
You won the name game. Hi. Yeah, of course I'm going to do an intermission in this video, even just as a guest video. We still have to thank all the patrons and everybody supporting us. Thank you. And also, I have art to share, and this is like usually a nice place to pop the art. So here, look at cool art. I want to give a special shout out to Mushroom Queen, or Mush7221, whose comic I had used an edit of in the last video, but I failed to properly credit her. I am sorry. We have chatted, and I think we're all cool. I also commissioned her for some cool art. And then I also got some fan art from her. So yeah, she's awesome. And here's some other cool art we've commissioned lately, including a little plushie by Entropy Art. I might be looking to merch. I'm not gonna be ready for this video, but like soon. Anyways, enjoy the rest of the video.
What do you mean most people don't want to be the opposite gender? Oh God, I haven't even finished reading the first panel and I'm already called out and just want to bury my head in my desk. So calling myself assigned gender at birth doesn't, wait, is it assigned gender at birth? I don't know. I'm AGAB is new to me. And while being called the opposite gender feels okay, it still doesn't feel right either. So I can't be trans, right? Technically, you can be either at this point because you can be NB and be trans, but you can also be NB and not be trans because there is essentially, you can aim for like a true neutral, but in most cases, just because we're human and we're not perfect, you're going to lean one way or the other. And if the way that you lean is different than your assigned gender at birth, then you're trans. You don't have to identify as trans, but you essentially fall under the umbrella at that point. And I am very much non-binary trans femme. And I didn't realize how much of a thing that was until I started doing fundraisers for Trans Lifeline. And I went and I looked at their staff page and I saw that most of them there that were non-binary had the specific designation of trans femme or trans masc. And that was a really like interesting point and really kind of helped clarify why I stay NB and don't prefer to do male to female transgender, is that I just lean one way. I don't fully identify that way.
Trans categorically means across. I still think generally the trans umbrella is there for people who want to use it.
Yeah.
Effectively, like I don't think but just like also like that, you don't have to use it if it doesn't, that like doesn't work for you.
I remember there was, the first time I really saw this discussed at any length is there was an image that went around social media that was the trans umbrella, and they put non-binary completely under the trans umbrella. And a lot of people were like, no, that's not the way this works. And somebody remade the image with half of the NB umbrella under the trans umbrella and the other half not. And that's kind of, that's the way it is. And honestly, it's your gender. Like, do whatever you want. What do you mean people don't question their gender constantly? What do you
Yeah, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
That's not
people don't think about that? Like, what else is there to think about?
You don't get happy when you're out getting a Christmas tree and the dude that's selling you a Christmas tree thinks that you're a girl, and your mom's just like, no, they're a boy, and you're just like, no, it's okay, I don't mind. Male and female, non-binary, impossible to tell under all the machinery and tubes. Gender is a relevant meatbag. I have replaced my genitalia with a neutron laser. That's what's between my legs.
Yeah.
Do I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend today?
Well, since you ate the last slice of pizza last night, today you have an enemy.
Luigi, stop eating. Oh wait, no, Luigi has got different connotations nowadays.
Oh yeah. Started really questioning at 12, now almost 19, still don't know shit. Me, gender. Wow, look, nothing.
Look at all of these fields of emptiness. Look at them. Is this gender? I don't really have much extra commentary on this one other than like, that's a mood. That's a mood that I have been through for so long. Sometimes it just takes a lot of exploration to get past that. This is one of those things where, should I say how old I am?
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
So I'm 43. So yeah, when I say I grew up in the 80s and 90s, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. I have had a lot of life experience when it comes to all of this stuff, and the world has grown and changed around me significantly when it comes to gender expression. And there's definitely some of the like, all of you in the younger generations, you have it so much better than I did. Back in my day, we had to fake our own deaths and move in order to do the thing. But, you know, that's not entirely true or relevant either. It's just that you'll learn a lot about yourself over time, and a lot of this kind of just comes down to it's a time thing, and that sucks, but sometimes you just need to give yourself the space. You just need to let yourself look at nothing for a while.
There are so many layers of bullshit to have to sort through and sift through. A lot of which are kind of externally imposed on us before you can ever get to start to like dismantle or take apart and understand yourself, right?
I like how I started that one off with, wow, I've got nothing.
Are you a boy or girl? Rolls D20 and checks roll table. Yes? No? Maybe. It's complicated. Whispers, is that a human thing? Are you a boy or girl? Gets out flowcharts. 42. Proletariat. Gender is a lie. I have no gender, only rage.
Fair.
Only on prime numbered days.
Pterodactyl noises.
I am Groot. I'm a Jedi. I am insert sports position. I'm a mess. I'm a train wreck, and train wrecks don't have gender, only pain. Or I transcend gender.
The one thing that this is missing is I'm a meat popsicle.
I'm not a chick, so I don't date people who are exclusively attracted to them. That sign won't stop me because I can't read. Weird, horny cishet men.
It kind of ties back to essentially the programming that media has given us over a long period of time. And, you know, since I am older, like I grew up in the 90s. I'm a 90s kid. Yay. But you had like Family Matters and all of these other sitcoms that were just always portraying women as objects that you had to acquire. Like you had to date somebody and you had to consider like every girl to be a conquest.
How many movies have a subplot of guy gets the girl? That's just kind of a thing. And for a long time, it was like, we just show up in a movie whether it made sense or not. Just be like, there has to be a sub love plot. Otherwise, so what's the point? I think, unfortunately, probably a lot of like that becoming more popular is that like it is probably relatable on some level to many people, at least like relatable to like an idea that is easy to digest, right?
Yeah.
As like I like, oh, maybe I don't say the right things and I feel like I'm always down on my luck. And every time I talk to people, they seem to not like me. Probably those people take a very, very surface level like read of these movies where they just kind of see that reflected in them. And they're like, see them still get the girl at the end and still kind of win whatever. And that's what they took away. And they don't take away any sort of deeper criticism of like, hey, maybe this is actually an awful person and we should be rooting for them. And I don't think these movies do anywhere near enough to offer a reading of it trying to say anything about their behavior actually being awful, because they never really face any consequences for anything they do. Not really.
You end up with the phenomena of people that are, you know, like pro-cop, pro-military, listening to Rage Against the Machine and going like, yeah, I really identify with this. Yeah. And you're just like, have you read the lyrics? Are you hearing what they're saying? Yeah, they're just saying, I'm not going to do what you told me. No.
Sweaty.
You're missing a few stages here. Or like all of the people that watch Star Trek and are somehow still like super like homophobic and misogynistic and, well, okay, Shatner is kind of a misogynist, but but like there's so many themes there that people that hold a lot of beliefs that just love it so much, but they're the complete opposite of the beliefs that those people hold. And it's just like, how can you completely miss the point like that?
Anyways, skirt goes spinny.
Skirt goes spinny.
Pockets.
Skirt pockets. I may or may not be wearing a skirt right now with pockets.
Nice.
Yeah. I honestly, like, as much as I have this skirt with pockets in it, the one thing that it's told me is that I don't like skirts with pockets, because if I put my phone in it and like my wallet, then I need a belt to hold it up because the elastic isn't quite strong enough once you add some weight to the skirt. Plus, it means I don't have an excuse to carry a cute purse. I heard you like kissing men.
Wow.
Wanna smooch? My fur won't feel too weird. Oh my.
Or dipping into furry territory.
Oh my. Well, yeah. BNB uses any pronouns, he, she, they. Everyone uses she, her. Everyone uses she, her.
Yeah.
That depends on the author, on if that's really good or not. And I can't tell for sure. I think in this case, it's bad.
I think, I mean, it sounds like it's more disappointing where they want all of their pronouns used. People are just defaulting to one, which is kind of,
Yeah. I have a friend that essentially did that. They did she, they, then they did they, them, and now they're on to he, they, but everybody still just uses they or ends up like misgendering them with she, her. I've just been watching the struggle in real time and it sucks.
Aww. I went through the pipeline for my pronouns from he, him to she, her, going from like he, him, he, they, them, she, they. One of the reasons why I went from she, they to she, her, and kind of very quickly was like how I was presenting it on Twitch and like in other social media was because I kind of wanted to just like nip that in the bud of seeing that people tend to do that of they might default to one or the other, and a lot of times people go they, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna say she, her, and then because I actually do prefer to be referred to as she, her. I like they, them, but like in most cases, especially if somebody's like meeting me for the first time, I kind of don't want to, if they're like a bad faith or if they're acting in bad faith, I don't really want to give them any inches,
Yeah. I did a different thing, which is, and part of why I still identify as ENBY is that I did the he, him, and then I went to they, them, and then I did they, she. And then I immediately was like, I don't like she, and went back to they, them. For all of y'all out there that are wondering about what should I do, just try everything. Because sometimes you won't know until you try it.
Not until you have somebody like use your pronouns, you don't really know how they hit, how they feel for you.
Yep.
And that was part of it for me too. But like I ended up learning that I actually did like or prefer she, her more than anything. So even though I like they, them, and I was like, well, I'm going to present more with she, her.
Unfortunately, you can't put your pronouns on a coffee cup. I mean, you could, but it doesn't work. It doesn't quite work the same way when Starbucks is calling out, she, her? She, her? One of y'all is going to do this, aren't you? You're going to torment some poor worker at a coffee shop.
Well, now I'm thinking of like, well, why didn't I ever like take a coffee cup or like take my own like coffee cup to bring to Starbucks and put like in parentheses she, her down there and have a space for them to put the name so that when they go to write it, it would actually just be there already and there wouldn't be any question about it. And then I remember I don't go to Starbucks. So that's probably why. So rando saying, you don't look non-binary. Me, oh, sorry, let me just zoop.
Flag. I feel like that's just the general experience of being non-binary. You don't look it. Well, what do you expect?
What are you supposed to look like? Like,
should I have a unicorn horn and tentacles? Like, what are you looking for?
I really believe that like if just like more widespread representation would help. In general with these kind of things. Because then like people would be exposed to just people being different.
I will say that like one of the most important things that's happened to me in my life is being exposed to people of different races, of different sexualities, of different any and everything. It's been able to allow me to change so many perspectives about so many things. And the unfortunate part of all of this is most people just never have the opportunity for it, which is why more people doing all of these things is so important. Even if you're out in the middle of like, you know, red territory or other areas, obviously be safe, but the human brain tends to need a person on the other side to understand or to even start to understand.
Yeah.
And if they can't find that, then they're going to latch on to whatever fear the media is shoving down their throat.
Is somebody knowing a trans person, an NB person, a person in general, like that alone can make a huge difference for whether or not somebody is going to be bigoted and follow along with that, or whether they're going to stop and think like, wait, you're talking about my friend. Like, they're great. Like, why are you attacking my friends? One of the things that I do for my communities and my spaces is try to make it intersectional for that reason of wanting to have spaces where people can get to interact and know other people that aren't all like them. You know, like I don't want like a trans specific space, or I don't want a plural specific space. I wanted a space that like everybody is welcome. And so people could get to learn about other people's experiences just by making friends and thereby humanizing in different levels. Maybe it doesn't work necessarily for furries and Therians to say humanizing, but you know what I mean.
You should laugh at that, but exactly. Thank you for doing this, and as always, it's a lot of fun to hang out. Even if like this is just fun to do in general. Like
yeah. I'm glad you had fun. I had fun too.
Yeah.
Hi. I hope you liked today's video. This is the first time I'm doing like a full guest video. I didn't really know how to approach it. We just kind of got in a voice call and chatted about stuff. Turns out we have both had a lot to say about all of this. I'm actually pretty shy, honestly, so that's a pretty big reason why I don't end up collabing with too many people in videos. But if you liked this and you'd want more collabs like this in the future, like let me know who you'd want me to reach out to, and I can chat with them and see if they'd want to come back for a video. Anyways, that's all for today. Have yourselves a lovely spring. Look out for some merch maybe coming in the future, and yeah, take care of yourselves.